How far will the Jade Giant be willing to go if it means rescuing Bruce Banner and defeating the leader? Well, let's hop into the pages of the Immortal Hulk issue number 49, the penultimate issue of this Al Ewing series, and find out together, shall we? So chances are, if you're like me, you're probably thinking this late in the Immortal Hulk game, there's no trick that Al Ewing hasn't pulled out yet. Well, you would be wrong, because as we dig into this penultimate issue, the whole layout has actually changed completely. We don't get our traditional comic book speech bubbles. Instead, the story is told through an article that we hear Jacqueline McGee writing. Though interestingly enough, her story starts not by talking about the Hulk, who she's been with all this time. Instead, it actually starts talking about the Fantastic Four. How their mission to space was so iconic, a piece of Americana, a true distillation of the atomic age and the space race. Everyone loves the Fantastic Four and how they pushed the barriers of science ever further. As Jacqueline opines, though, in many ways, they are the flip side of Bruce Banner and the Incredible Hulk. They built a rocket while he built a bomb. And while the bomb is very clearly meant to represent the evil side of scientific advancement and the atomic age and everything else, I find it an interesting little dichotomy too when we found out a couple issues ago that one of the only things that can hurt the Hulk is cosmic rays, aka the same thing that gives the Fantastic Four their power, that thing that comes from a higher plane, the absolute opposite of the one below all. Now, after bidding a teary goodbye to Betty at the end of the previous issue, the Hulk now has nothing left to lose and decides now is the best time as any to have a reckoning with the Avengers and the rest of the superhero community. Much like before, Jacqueline notes how this is a losing proposition from the get-go. The Hulk's power is so toxic, so corrosive, he fills anyone around him with anger. Yet this time, though, instead of fighting back, the Hulk actually stands there and takes his lashes instead. Well, it's sad to say, though, perhaps the Hulk has always been the best at taking his lumps, at taking a beating. It's been that way, well, ever since poor Bruce Banner was a child growing up with his alcoholic, abusive father, Brian Banner. Maybe it's those moments that readied the Hulk for this sort of onslaught that he's suffering right now. In fact, the superheroes beat on the Hulk so much they don't even worry about possibly hurting Jen, their teammate, or Jacqueline, who's there too. The fighting is only stopped by the appearance of the Fantastic Four. This is their tower they're all assembled in right now. Jacqueline has an interesting take meeting the Fantastic Four for the first time, saying that they actually look more alien and inhuman than she ever considered. It's only actually the thing who most resembles a traditional human. Again, if you couldn't tell, the story's kind of doing an interesting thing right now in casting the Fantastic Four as, well, angelic equivalents to the devilish Hulk. After all, they too were twisted by the mysterious ancient force that they were exposed to. The only difference is, well, they didn't become big green rage monsters, did they? The Fantastic Four also serve as a reflection to Bruce Banner and the Hulk in another way, and that is they're actually a loving family unit, while Bruce never actually had any of that. The whole angel idea is hit on even more so too, as the Thing actually takes the Hulk away from the fight with the other heroes as an old friend, and they go through a light-filled door. Doors, of course, being a major motif all throughout Al Ewing's Immortal Hulk run, but this door is different than the others. It's warm and welcoming. It's not creepy like the Green Door. Now, how exactly do the Fantastic Four plan to help the Hulk in his battle against the leader? Well, they've managed to build a portal device that should take him to the leader's realm. And yes, Reed Richards, using his big science brain, was indeed able to crack this incredibly complex problem. As Jacqueline McGee says, this is just one of the many miracles the Fantastic Four managed to create every day. The Hulk is more than ready to go and meet his fate, challenge his foes, and hopefully come out stronger on the other side. But here's the thing though, Jacqueline, who, let's face it, this story has been just as much about her as it has been the Hulk since the very beginning, decides at the last second that she wants to go too. And with that, the stage is set for the big finale as the comic comes to a close. And so that was Immortal Hulk issue number 49, everybody, an artsy way to set the stage for the big finale. I appreciate that this issue allowed us to get a little bit more inside the head of Jacqueline McGee, who has been our POV character pretty much since this series began, but who's kind of fallen in the background a little bit more as the story weared on. The whole idea of the Fantastic Four being the polar opposite of the Hulk and the one below all and everything else is a really fascinating idea. So fascinating, in fact, I hope we get to see Al Ewing explore it in another series at some point. Beyond that, I'm really not sure what to say about this series that I haven't said in the last 48 videos. It's really good. It gives me a lot to think about. It's a lot deeper and more thematic than your average Hulk story has ever been. It also uses just about every part of the Marvel Universe to tell its story, and I gotta say, I positively love it, which is why I give this one a much-deserved 9 out of 10. Hey there everyone, Kate Joel again, and I just want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. It means a lot to me. And hey, if you enjoyed the book I covered in this issue and want some comics of your own, might I recommend Book Depository? It's my #1 place for shopping for comic book trades. You get a great price, and if you use my link down in the description, you'll actually be helping me out at the same time. You get something, I get something, everybody wins, right? So until next time everyone, I've been Joel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.